Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. We have some news on Declan Rice from ex-West Ham employee who's very accurate in terms of West Ham news. He has confirmed that Arsenal's 100 million bid will be made in the next 24 hours or before the next 24 hours. So it could be in the next 1 hour, it could be tonight, it could be tomorrow morning, but in the next 24 hours, Arsenal will launch their 100 million bid. So we'll talk about that. And as City also going to make the bid as well, we'll talk about that one as well. We expected a lot of movement this week. As I said yesterday, this was going to be a big week for us. Expected us to make that third bid for Declan Rice, and also Julian Timber as well is also close to joining us. So we are hearing about the medicals for Kai Havertz. Will probably be announced this week. And also today we've been talking about a lot of news. There's been news on Xavi Simons from PSV. There's been news on Cancelo, on Caicedo, on Balogun as well. A lot of news to get through. So let's start by saying hi to you guys. Kelvin. Arita says together from Kenya. Thank you, Kelvin. Watching from Zambia. Let me know where you're watching from. Thank you, Prince. From Sierra Leone says Osma. What's the situation with Rice? We'll talk about that one. Patrick. Thank you, Taiwo. Good evening to you too as well, Patso. A lot of news to get through. We'll start with the Declan Rice one as always. Let me know where you're watching from. Hope they could accept it, says Pato. According to reports, I don't think they're going to reject it. And the only thing that can stop us from signing Rice is if Man City come and say we have 200 million for Declan Rice, which is not possible. They're already going for Kvaradskhelia from Leipzig, so I doubt they're going to pay a lot of money like that for Declan Rice. But you never know. So there's still 92% confidence, as I've always said, but there's that 8% that I'm like, what if Man City come and say 150 million for Declan Rice? But I'm still not right. I believe Declan Rice will be an Arsenal player and the bid will be accepted tomorrow. So let's see how it goes. But let's start with the news. Let's not waste any more of your time. Let's start with the latest piece of news, and that is from ex-West Ham employee who's very reliable in terms of West Ham news. So as you can see, he says Arsenal's third bid is set to come within the next 24 hours. So it doesn't necessarily mean we have to wait for 24 hours. It can be in the next 1 hour. It can be tonight. It can be tomorrow morning. It can be tomorrow afternoon. Arsenal bid will be around 100 million that West Ham wants. So that is good. The bid will be 100 million that West Ham wants. That is what West Ham wants. Unless, West Ham, I still have a feeling that West Ham don't want Rice to join Arsenal. I still feel like themselves as a team and their fans, they want Declan Rice to go to Man City. So unless they just change their mind and say, you know what, you've changed your mind, we want 130 million, but I don't think they would do that. Also, he says City still there and could bid even more than Arsenal. West Ham reject Arsenal and accept City is a possibility. I'm choosing not to believe that. They could do that, but it's up to Declan Rice, and that is why I believe Arteta and they do have done enough in terms of convincing Rice to join Arsenal. That is why I believe in what the manager has done in terms of convincing him. And also the final one, acceptance in West Ham board, Arsenal's bid will be acceptable. That is good news. That is good news. So they've been since the second bid, since we had that Man City are going to hijack that bid, whatever, and here and there, it went quiet for like 4 or 5 days. It has gone quiet, I think, since Thursday. But this week we expected the bids to be made, and it seems like by tomorrow we'll hear about the bids, and most likely West Ham will accept it. Now, I'm not sure about what the structure will be. If it's going to be close to 100 million, I don't think it's going to be 100 million straight up cash, and here's your money, we are done. I think it could be something like 80 million maybe plus I don't know, maybe 85 million plus 15 million add-ons, and then more attainable add-ons, maybe nothing to do with us winning the Champions League, maybe in terms of appearances, maybe in terms of stuff like that, then West Ham would accept it. But as long as the bid is close to 100 million, remember, Arsenal have been making bids of 80 million, I think 90 million, and Man City have not yet made their bid. But from what I believe, I don't think Man City are 100% serious about him. I think they're kind of okay, and since they're going for another 100 million player, I don't think they're going to pay 130 million or something to blow us out the water for Declan Rice. So I am very sure that Arteta and they do have done good business in terms of convincing Declan Rice to join Arsenal. So that is what is going to help us a lot, whatever they've told him behind the scenes. So it could be around 100 million. And what other point? Let's go to the other point that they made in that tweet. City will be there and could even, if Arsenal's bid is rejected and City is accepted, unless City bid like 10, 20 million more than us, which I really doubt. That is my point. If Arsenal bid 100 million, Man City would have to bid like 120 million to get Declan Rice, to the point of where West Ham will tell Declan Rice, no, we cannot sell it to us, so we're going to give it to Man City because they're giving us more money. But I don't think that will be the case. I think they've done a good job in terms of convincing him to join Arsenal. And also West Ham acceptance. There's acceptance in West Ham's board that Arsenal's bid will be accepted. So that is good news for us. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. Tomorrow is like D-Day, because especially for me, I have been saying I'm 192% confident that Rice will join Arsenal. So you can just imagine if we hear that he's going to join Man City, I'd actually get sick. That would be devastating. But I'm 100% sure he's going to be an Arsenal player tomorrow. Let's say 100%. Why not? I believe in what Arteta has done. I believe in what Edu has done. And he's going to be a big, big player for us. And the moment this saga has ended, every single Arsenal fan will be calm, because this is the one that has been disturbing Arsenal fans. Caicedo Rice. It would be a disaster if we didn't get any of them. I definitely understand that, and it would be hard because people have been saying, do we have to get Rice? 100 million is too much. Let's go for anyone else. I don't think there's anyone else. I don't think there's way too many people like that. I think it's only Rice and Caicedo. Actually, in the Premier League, unless you're getting Rodri from Man City or Partey from Arsenal, who we already have and we're about to sell, or we are getting someone like Casemiro from Man United, I don't think there's too many midfielders who are on that level. So it's only Rice and only Caicedo in the league. Unless you go to other countries, and for me in that midfield position, I want someone who's played in the Premier League before. That is what I mainly want for that. And Declan Rice has been there for 4 or 5 years since West Ham, like in the other stadium and stuff. So he's also a midfielder who can play in several positions in midfield, and he's played as a centre back before. His first position as a centre back, so it can only be beneficial for us. And he always regularly plays for England as well, so the experience is there. Yes, he's never played the Champions League before, just like many of our players, but he's played World Cups before, he's played Euros before, so I'm confident in whatever it's going to bring to Arsenal, but he's not yet an Arsenal player. We have to wait for tomorrow for the bid to be made. I think this is going to be the final bid. I don't think it's going to be rejected. I don't think Arsenal will give a silly bid and then have to make a 4th and 5th bid. I think they want it to be done, because already we are almost at the end of June, and preseason starts in July 13th, and I think preseason maybe like training will start maybe 5th or 6th or something like that. So I think they want the likes of Rice and Havertz and Timber in the team before the preseason. It's not actually like 13th only, like he has to be there like 1 week before just to get into the training and everything. And the medicals also take time, so we have to get it done very quickly this week. I'm sure we'll get our 3 signings this week: Havertz, Rice, and Timber. Also, before I come to your comments, let's get to the Timber news as well. It's very, very close. I'm hearing that the medicals have even been scheduled. He's going to be getting 90k per week, almost 120 per week, I think, including bonuses. Those terms will be formally agreed once Arsenal and Ajax reach an agreement of our transfer fee. I'm hearing that is very close to be agreed. I'm hearing they already planned the medicals. Timber is eager to join Arsenal, with the move expected to be wrapped up quickly once the 2 clubs strike a deal. So another transfer that will be done this week, that will be huge. You know, the people who've been saying you know yourself, I'm speaking to you people who've been saying Arsenal is too slow in the transfer market. You know, by the end of June, by the end of this week, Arsenal will have 3 players. And I don't think there's any other team that has 3 players. Maybe Brighton signed the likes of Milne away before even this season ended. I don't think there's any team that has come close to signing 3 players. Arsenal is the team that has done the most business. So by the end of June, we are the team that is going to be laughing at other teams and laughing at how Man United's bids are getting rejected and how Tottenham's bids are getting rejected. It's going to be us laughing at them. Also, some news on Balogun as well. According to reports, the last part is what made me happy. Arsenal value him at 50 million. That is what we want to hear. Balogun is 50 million, nothing less. This talk about 30 million, 35 million, we don't have to sell him. We can keep him. So this is from Sky Sports said today. He said Arsenal in representatives will strike a Balogun of his future, like there's talks going on. He thought he wants to make a permanent move away from Arsenal. So that is another one that maybe not necessarily this week, but you could hear some movement in terms of that deal this week. So Balogun doesn't seem like he's going to be at Arsenal. Unfortunately, I have to agree with a few reports I've had about Balogun. Sometimes you have to be humble. I really love him as a player. I want him to stay. I want him to go out on loan in the Premier League for 1 more season and then come back. But the problem is, I appreciate him having that attitude about I want to come and play. That is fine. That's great. That's a great attitude to have. Everyone wants to play. But sometimes you have to be humble. You know, Balogun scored those 20 goals last season, and right now he's making it like I am Balogun. I have to play for Arsenal. Not yet, man. Not yet. We want to keep you. We believe you're a good striker, but you also have to be humble. For example, today, Kiwior knows he's not going to start at Arsenal. He's not going to say, you know what, I want to leave. I want to start at Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. He said, you know what, we'll be here next season. We'll be fighting for trophies and I'll be fighting for my position. You have to prove yourself as an Arsenal player as well. You have to come here and basically prove yourself to the fans and then play. Even Declan Rice, if you come and play poorly, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you to start. You don't have to start. That is why you're trying to build a team. Even Timber himself, he can't just come to Arsenal and say, you know what, I have to start for Arsenal. No. The likes of Saliba and White have been playing well. So you have to prove yourself. And then if you play well, you keep on playing. So for Balogun, I'm also not so sure about players with their attitude. So I want a player to stay at Arsenal because they want to stay at Arsenal. And for Balogun at the moment, it looks like unless we're promising him to start 38 games in the Premier League, it seems like he doesn't want to stay. So that is unfortunate. But if you want him, 50 million, please. 50 million for him. Kai Havertz as well, we're expecting to be completed this week. According to Sky Sports News as well, Kai Havertz has completed his Arsenal medicals. All left is a signature and announcement. So that will be our first signing, and then followed by Timber and hopefully Declan Rice. So that will be 3 signings. That will be around if we pay 100 million for Declan Rice and about 45 for Timber, that will be around like 200. Right? Like 210 or 205 million spent already with 3 players. That would be crazy. Arsenal never spend that kind of money. So that kind of shows me we've changed our ways. Usually we are trying to get 20 million players, 25 million players, 30 million players. Now we're talking about 100 million, 60 million, and we are making the movements. Havertz is joining. Rice bid is going to be tomorrow. Timber bid has been made today. By the way, we've made the second bid for G and Timber today. Balogun could be on his way out. And also, there's a couple of players I want to talk about. Cancelo. So I did a video about Cancelo. This is what the latest news has had to say about Cancelo. This one I really doubt that you're going to get him mainly because of the money. But according to Rudy Galetti, a potential move for 29-year-old Portuguese defender Joao Cancelo is very likely. He said Arsenal are certainly one of the teams interested in him. It's confirmed. But at the moment, the Gunners are fully focused on the deal of Declan Rice. And only after having managed to manage the midfield issue will they eventually focus on the Portuguese player. I mean, I'd like to believe this one will not happen, because if there's a transfer window that you're going to get Declan Rice for that money, Havertz for that money, and then you still get Cancelo for that money, that would be the best ever transfer window Arsenal has ever had. Period. Like that would be the biggest transfer window we've ever had. So let's keep an eye on the Cancelo one as well. Also, another reason why I'm doubting it is because of Man City. Will they really want to sell? Like, will they let us get Declan Rice and also give us Cancelo? Unless Guardiola is very bored and he really, really wants competition next season, I don't think they'll be really giving us Cancelo unless the player basically throws his toys out the pram. So Kai said as well, I mean, if we don't get Declan Rice, if there's a world where we don't get Declan Rice, I would not want to live in that world. Moises Caicedo could yet become an option for Arsenal if Thomas Partey leaves. This is another one. It is still likely. Maybe the reports about Arsenal pulling out were a bit inaccurate. Maybe Arsenal still want him, but the problem with this one is money. Are we really going to pay 100 million for Rice and then 100 million for Caicedo? I really doubt. But if Thomas Partey leaves, we are still very, very short in midfield. If you lose Partey and also lose Xhaka and also lose Jorginho, we don't know if he's going to stay or go. And then El Neni could also leave as well. Lokonga could also leave. Our midfield is very, very short. Havertz and Odegaard are not defensive midfielders or central midfielders, so we need to sort out those positions as well. And I am thinking the manager, and they do have some other players in mind, someone like a Timber that we didn't really hear about, and then boom, Arsenal about to make an offer for Timber. We might hear those kind of links very, very soon, or we might not hear about it. We might end up joining just like a Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira came out of nowhere. He was signed, and Tomiyasu as well came out of nowhere. He was signed. Maybe you can hear about 1 or 2 more of those midfielders, but I believe they'll have at least 4 players in before the preseason starts. Hopefully the 3 of them that we've talked about. Also, Xavi Simons has been in the news today. According to reports from L'Equipe, Arsenal are chasing a cash price deal to sign Xavi Simons, who doesn't want to return to PSG. I mean, with this one is a realistic deal. This is a deal that you can get, yes, especially if he doesn't want to go to PSG. But the problem with this one is where is he going to play? That is the thing. I would really love to have someone like a Xavi Simons at Arsenal because it doesn't necessarily have to be here. If you buy him and then you send him out on loan like a Saliba, that is perfect. But the problem is, just like Balogun, Xavi Simons also says he wants to play almost every single day. Is he going to play every single day? If you join Arsenal right now, Xavi Simons, you're not going to play every single day. Like in that front four, we have right now, we have Odegaard, we have Fabio Vieira, we have Smith Rowe, we have Saka, we have Martinelli, we have Jesus, we have Odegaard, we have Trossard, we have Havertz as well. There's a lot of players there, so Simons cannot really just come and then start playing. But if you have like an option like that in the team, why not? Like it would have been ideal, like to sign him right now, and then if he feels like he's not going to get game time, send him out on loan for 1 year. I also forget Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson's also on that list. We have a lot of players in those positions now, and then who knows, you might end up getting another player. If you're going to get another attacker, I would not choose Xavi Simons. Yes, I would love to sign him, yes, but I'd still want a striker, a different kind of striker like a Giroud or a winger who can play as a striker as well, someone like a Moussa Diaby. And Xavi Simons can. Sometimes he has played as a forward, but I need that strength and physicality up front, and I don't think he's that kind of player. And also right now, I just need us to sort out that midfield issue. Right now, Osimhen is great. All those players are great. But right now, you cannot convince me that, yes, Arsenal go and sign Osimhen before sorting out on your midfield. I mean, if you get rid of Partey and get rid of Xhaka, our midfield is very short. That is where we need to spend the money, not striking. Striking for later, fine. If we have some spare change and we've sorted out our midfield, well done. Left wing is looking good. In terms of defense at the moment, Tierney, it's gone quiet, so I would love Tierney to stay. We have Zinchenko, we have Kivior, we have Gabriel, we have White, we have Saliba, we have Tomiyasu. Timber is coming as well. I think defense is okay. If we get Timber, I think we'll have 8 or 9 defenders. So I think that is okay. Midfield is the problem. And also maybe a backup for Saka. Unless Nelson is really going to play next and he's going to play on that right side, we have to wait and see. But Timber news, Declan Rice news, Balogun news as well, Havertz, Cancelo, Xavi Simons, and also Romeo Lavia. Could we be getting Romeo Lavia? This one I'm kind of doubtful as well because I don't know. I don't think we are 100% serious with this one because we've been going for these other deals. Unless we finish up with these other deals and then he's still available and then we can go for him. But according to Fabrizio Romano, Liverpool are asking about the conditions, and also Man United and Chelsea are monitoring the situation. And the other problem with this one is money. Will any of those teams be willing to pay 45-50 million for Romeo Lavia? I don't really think so. But it would still be great to have him in our midfield because we don't have great midfielders right now. We need all the quality and all the quantity you can get in midfield unless they have other players in mind. So a lot to get through today, a lot of players to talk about. Great to see Smith Rowe performing for his country, but there's a lot of news. Now, if someone like a Xavi Simons joins, does that mean Fabio Vieira, Smith Rowe, Nelson will be loaned out, all that? A lot to keep an eye on now. But hopefully, for me, I was happy to keep every single player, maybe apart from 3 or 4. Even when I mentioned those forward players, Nketiah is also still at Arsenal. I forgot to mention him. He's also still at Arsenal. Balogun at the moment is still at Arsenal as well. So those forward positions right now, we have like 11 players. So I don't know if they're really keen about sorting out the midfield, the striking positions before the midfield. Let's get to your comments. And let's see. I like someone said I like him already. Where's that comment? It disappeared. I'll get to it. I'm watching from Christ. It says Yusuf. Impressive transfer for Arsenal. That would be incredible, man. I think this would be one of our biggest signings ever. It will be our biggest signing in terms of our money. And in terms of quality and impact, I think it could end up being that level as well. At the moment, I'd still say the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Ozil and Aubameyang are up there in terms of impact right away after joining our team. Hopefully, Declan Rice can have the same when he joins Arsenal. Hopefully, he can do the same because that is a position that we've struggled to sort out since Patrick Vieira left. Thomas Partey was great, but apart from that, we had Alex Song, we had Denilson, we even had players like Frimpong. There's a time he had Wilshere playing there. There's a time he had Ramsey playing there. Gilberto Silva played there for a couple of years. Fabregas played there. Flamini played there. And I don't think any of them you can compare to what Vieira could do for us. Thomas Partey maybe came close, but still, we need great midfielders. That is the most important position for me. Dennis says it's already a done deal apart from the price. That's the sticky part in this deal. And also Man City. I know I've been saying I'm not scared of Man City in terms of this deal, but that is what is worrying people. We have to acknowledge them because they just won a treble. If Man City are not in the in this picture, we'd already gotten this player a long time ago. There would not be any worry. Robin says, great job for Edu, and Mikel Kaivert's confirm who is next. Probably Timber will be next. Anu says, watching from Nigeria. That's good. I will be glad if we can make the deal a reality, including Timber, and let's keep Balogun. Balogun, I don't know. It depends on him. Does he want to stay because he wants first team football? And wait, I mentioned all those forward players. Did I actually forget to mention Jesus? Please don't tell me I forgot to mention Jesus, because that is a starter for me. Did I actually forget? That's like 12 forward players now. No way I forgot to mention Jesus. What the hell? He's one of my favorite players in that team. Thank you, Kundu. Let's see. Patrick says, what's the situation in Rice? I've gone through it because we need him and Caicedo. That was our dream at the beginning. Caicedo, and I still have to admit, it's going to be very hard because of the money, and especially also because we've given the likes of Chelsea and these other teams to a time to talk to him, as we've been talking to Rice and Havertz and all these other players. Watching from Nigeria says some Nigeria as well, Moses. Thank you guys for being here. UAE, Kelvin, thank you for being here. Tactical says there should be a tier list for the amount of stress Arsenal priority targets over the years. Of course, the fan base, it's been crazy. Tactical, it's been crazy. It's been, man, it's been a journey, guys. It's been a journey. Like, we can start all the way back in 2010 or 2011 or something like that. Like, from, there's a time you wanted Benzema for like 4 years. There's a time you wanted Higuain for a lot of years, and we never got them. And then you come to our, I think there was a player that was called Mvia that we wanted around 2011, 2012. We never got him. A lot, man. We can speak about Lisandro Martinez. We can speak about Vlahovic. But this is what I usually say. That is then. This is now. The last 4 years, we were bad. We were not in the Champions League. We were finishing 8th, and there was no way you could convince these players to join Arsenal. Right now, we can convince players tactical. Right now, and especially from what I'm hearing about it. So I'm hearing that when Arteta talks to you, even if Arsenal is 20th, you're going to join. Because of how much he can convince you. I think he learned from Arsene Wenger and learned from Pep Guardiola, and he's taken that into his stride, and he's convincing players a lot. So if they actually convince Rice to join Arsenal ahead of Man City, I have to say whoever did those negotiations, whether it's Arteta, whether it's Edu, I have to round of applause for them, because it's not easy to compete with Man City for a player, and it's not easy to do it when like basically no one is expecting him to join you. Rice by now, Rice has probably had that like everyone is expecting him to join Man City. He's probably had pundits saying, "Why are you joining Arsenal? You should be joining Man City." He's probably had all of that, but for him to actually join Arsenal, by the way, I think his dad is a Chelsea fan. I think he's like great Chelsea fan. I think he has like a season ticket there, so he could easily have said, "I want to go to Chelsea." He used to be in the Chelsea academy as well. So for us to convince him to join Arsenal after Man City wanted him, after him being a boyhood Chelsea player, Chelsea fan. Crazy. Keep up the spirit, says Tick. Watching from Kenya, says Brian. Wangoya as well says watching from Kenya. Rice will sign for Arsenal soon, says Manuel. I cannot wait for tomorrow. So I think the moment we hear the bid has been launched, I think we'll very, very quickly hear whether they've accepted it or rejected it. So I don't think they'll reject it. According to the reports, it seems they will accept it. So let's go through this again if you've just joined. Ex-West Ham employee says the third bid is set to come within the next 24 hours. Arsenal bid will be around the 100 million that West Ham wants. So that is good. That West Ham wants, that part is great to read. City still then could bid even more than Arsenal. West Ham reject Arsenal, and West Ham City is and accept City is a possibility. And then at the bottom, acceptance in West Ham board, Arsenal's bid will be acceptable. So there's that. I think West Ham are expecting that bid to be acceptable, and especially if City are telling them we're not going to bid because he wants to join Arsenal anyway, maybe that will force West Ham's hand in terms of accepting the deal. Even if you give them 94 million, 95 million, they'll be like, okay, fine, you can have him. That would be great for us. If we actually get this deal done for less than 100 million, that would be perfect. I'll be coming for you guys who've been saying, just pay 100 million, just pay the money. Lucas, I hope Rice comes watching from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you for watching, Lucas. I appreciate it. I really hope he comes as well. In my head, Rice is already an Arsenal player. Like, he's already an Arsenal player, so it would be devastating if we didn't get them. Jordan from Congo as well, I appreciate it. Let's see. Nigeria, I'm nervous about the Rice deal, says Anu. Thank you for reminding me about the poll. So I put a poll on YouTube asking, and also if you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, let me know. How are you feeling about this Declan Rice deal? Are you relaxed? Do you think we'll definitely sign him? Or are you just trying to cope with all of it? Or are you very, very nervous about it? Or have you had enough of it? Are you just waiting for the player to have a shot and then you'll talk about Declan Rice? How are you feeling about this Declan Rice deal? Right now, 61% are saying I'm relaxed, we'll sign him. Wow, interesting. I'm hoping I'm not the one who's convinced you, because if he doesn't sign for Arsenal, oh my goodness, I don't know where I'll go. 22% have said I've had enough already. Babu O says we should not sleep on Reiss Nelson and ESR. They will be vital for next season. I really, both of them. Now, I really love what Nelson did for us. I think he only played like 200 minutes for us last season, but every time he came on, he had an impact. When you were losing 3-1 to Southampton, he came on. I think he had an assist or something. The game ended 3-3, especially against Bournemouth, impact, against Nottingham Forest, impact. So if you give him more time, what will we see from him? So that's the player I also want to remain. I think he deserves to stay for another season. We gave Nketiah and Maitland-Niles as well, all these players time. We also gave Martinelli and Saka a few seasons, Smith Rowe as well. So Nelson, we've not really ever given him 1-2 seasons in a row. We're always sending him out on loan to Feyenoord, I think to Hoffenheim. Usually send him out on loan a lot of times. So it would be great to just give him a full season at Arsenal without any injuries and see how he does. Let them pay the money if they really need him, says Bernard. Bernard wants them to pay the money, even if it's 160 million, just pay the money. We'll get him, don't worry. If you get the chance to speak to Arteta, what will you tell him? Dominic, I'll tell him I'm happy with the job he's doing at Arsenal, and I believe he's going to be very successful at Arsenal. He's going to be one of the best managers in the future. That is what I tell him. And I'll also tell him to pay the money for Declan Rice. What is your opinion on Smith Rowe's position at Arsenal? I think I think left wing we're okay with Martinelli and Trossard. I think in a number the Xhaka role in an attacking game, not in a defensive game. By that I mean we cannot go with Smith Rowe and Odegaard and Martinelli, Jesus and Saka all starting away at Liverpool. The other games that we expected to dominate. Last season, to be fair, we dominated a lot of games, even including against Liverpool in the first half, even against Man United, both games we dominated. So I think next to Odegaard as 2 number 10s in games that you needed to attack. Unless Martinelli and Trossard are not there at the same time. Or you can also play him on the left side if Martinelli or Trossard are rested, or one of them is having to play as a striker if I'm Jesus. Now, for all this, we have to wait and see how Havertz is going to be deployed and if you're going to get another forward player. We'll do a video about that one, but I think Smith Rowe is going to play a crucial position. Now, I talked about Smith Rowe yesterday and I said I want 100% to keep him. And then I actually saw someone commenting. Can I actually get that comment? I'm just going to look for it right now. Someone said I'm crazy for wanting Smith Rowe to stay. And I was like, really? Come on. Are you telling me you want to 100% genuinely sell Smith Rowe? I think he's one of the best players at Arsenal, to be honest. And this is what the comment said about Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe is an average player. Oh my goodness. That is disgusting. Like, how can you actually be an Arsenal fan and believe Smith Rowe is an average player? Now, I have no problems with people having different opinions, but there's some Arsenal fans who I don't like Havertz. Why is Jesus at Arsenal? Gabriel is never going to win us a trophy. Ben White is not good enough. Sell him. Fabio Vieira, sell him. He doesn't deserve a second season. Why are we signing? Why are we taking so much time in signing Declan Rice? You cannot always be negative about every single Arsenal player. Like, you cannot watch Lesson and tell me White is a bad player or Gabriel is a bad player or Smith is an average player. Really? And then he also says, you guys are just, like Arsenal fans are just being emotional over the simple goals he scored in average matches. So according to this comment, Smith Rowe only scored average in average matches. I'm pretty sure Smith Rowe scored away at Old Trafford and scored away at Stamford Bridge that season. I don't think he scored in average matches, and he scored more than 10 goals for us that season. So Arsenal should sell Smith Rowe and add money and buy another player. That's one I definitely disagree with. 100% disagree with that kind of opinion. Smith Rowe has a huge position at Arsenal next season. As Dennis says, I believe he's going to play a huge impact at Arsenal next season. From Uganda says Cosmos, thank you for watching. From London, thank you for watching the Conte. So where are we with Rice business? I'd say good. I'd say heading there, almost at the finish line. Tomorrow, I think we're going to have a bid accepted, and then you're going to be celebrating tomorrow. I'm almost convinced of that. Thank you, Ibrahim. Let's see. True Arsenal player, love Smith Rowe. Just give him time on the pitch. You know, the thing is, someone like a Smith Rowe, he's not a bad player. He only got injured. That is why I never really say sell Smith Rowe, sell Tomiyasu. They are very good players. It's just the injury. So sometimes players never recover from injuries. Well, like a Cazorla or Wilshere, even them. Cazorla still went on to play for Villarreal for a few years, and Wilshere struggled to recover. I do get that, but some players usually recover and they play well. They recover from tough injuries and they become different players and they become very, very good players. So someone like a Smith Rowe and Tomiyasu, you cannot just say sell them right now. If this next season Smith Rowe and Tomiyasu all struggle with injuries the whole season, then at the end of the campaign you can start thinking about maybe replacing them. But at the moment, I still feel like Tomiyasu and Smith Rowe are very important players in the team. Jack says, any updates on Timber? Yes, Arsenal submitted a second bid today. Personal terms already agreed is going to be paid like 90 million to 120 million per week. And Ajax is expected to accept that bid. And from reports I've seen from a couple of hours ago, the medicals are already planned. So that is good. Angelos, thank you for the comments. I forgot to read your name. Domingos from Mozambique, appreciate it. Dexy says, even if Smith Rowe is an average player now, every world-class player was always an average player before becoming a world-class player. Dexy with a good point, and Smith Rowe is very good. You know, Paul very quickly forget. Smith Rowe and Saka saved Arsenal. We almost got relegated, and they basically saved us. And Smith Rowe last season, he was very good. Smith Rowe was playing ahead of Martinelli. He was starting games ahead of Martinelli. Last season before last, he was very, very good. He was scoring very good goals for us. He was always starting games, and we were saying Saka and Smith Rowe have to start. We even had a song for both of them. We have a song for both of them. So Smith Rowe is a very, very good player. And we've seen it. The goal that he scored yesterday, if you didn't see it, how many goals did they win? I think they won 2-0. I think they were playing against Israel under 21 or something like that. Just go and check that goal. Very, very good goal that from outside the box. So he has that quality. We can't really sell him. Chibali says Smith is a very good player. And I'm imagining if let's say we have Martinelli, Jesus, and also Saka starting, and then Odegaard, and let's say Havertz starting a game, the front five. And then like in the next game, if you have like a Carabao Cup game, I remember, back in the day when you had Wenger, I remember Carabao Cup games when it was called Carling Cup. We used to play players like Frimpong, Wilshere was like 16. I think we had Coquelin was like 17 then. Ramsey was like 16-year-old. We had Bentner was playing that competition. I think we had a goalkeeper called Palm. I think we used to play players like Amand Traore. I think that was his name. He was like 17, 18. Like we used to play like youngsters in the Carling Cup. Now, next season, if we have a Premier League game and you start with Havertz, Odegaard, Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka, that Carabao Cup game, you can start with Smith Rowe, you can start with Trossard, you can start with, like, these are quality players you can start with, like in a Carabao Cup game. That is a very good squad to have. And then that's not the only players you're going to sign. So that's a good thing to have. That is what you're trying to build. We need a team. We need a team where even if Trossard is coming off, Smith Rowe is coming on, you're like, you know what, that is fine. If Saka is coming off and Martinelli is coming on, you're like, you know what, that is fine. I like Smith Rowe from Uganda. Thank you, Sisi. I hope I'm saying your name right. Watching from Liberia. Thank you, Amos. Kekula says, well, Arsenal's transfer news can really make the fans pressurize. I know about it, man. It's tough. It's tough. It's not easy. But it's always like that with transfers. I know with Arsenal we've experienced a lot because we usually lose our players. But right now, Arsenal is ahead of every other team in terms of getting players. Like, we'll get 3 players before Man United get 1. We'll get 3 players with Chelsea only getting 1. Tottenham have only gotten a goalkeeper, which is a team... Man City, yes, Man City are making movements as well. So we have to keep up the pace with Man City if you want to compete with them. Today, the player wants to join Arsenal. Tomorrow, the player has joined another team. That was then, Kekula. That was then. This is now. Now we're fighting for titles and we are in the Champions League. So now we can, if we get Declan Rice instead of Man City, then that will make me really believe that we can compete with these teams for players. Even if we hear Bayern Munich want a player, Bayern Munich wanted Havertz. And Havertz is from Germany, so he can very easily go there. That is his home country. And on top of that, Thomas Tuchel was his manager at Chelsea. So for Havertz to actually choose Arsenal instead of Bayern Munich, then that is big. That shows me that we also have a manager that can convince players to join no matter what. Like this, Havertz should have been going to Bayern Munich, but he decided to stay at Arsenal, or to come to Arsenal. So that is big for us. That is, in terms of decision, it's big. In terms of him signing, I know fans are still not happy with Havertz signing, but him choosing Arsenal, that shows that there's something good going on at Arsenal. Arteta has told him, I'm going to improve you next season. And I believe in Arteta so much, I think think Havertz is going to be is not going to be the same Havertz from Chelsea. We are going to have the last laugh. Don't worry about that. When you're the one, I cannot wait for him to score 2 goals at Stamford Bridge next, and I'll be laughing. In terms of midfield addition, Savic is better than Lavia because of experience, 100% Daniel. And the good thing with that one, actually, Milinkovic-Savic is going to be cheaper than Lavia. So for me, if you had to ask me both of those players, I'd choose Milinkovic-Savic. The only thing is age difference. You can get Lavia to play for you for the next 15 years, and Milinkovic-Savic will probably play for you 3 years. That's the thing because of age. But in terms of experience and the kind of, he's a very good central midfielder, Milinkovic-Savic. He can score goals. He scores 10, 11 goals every single season. He can defend for you very well in midfield. That experience as well. He's played in European competitions. I'd love him as well, but let's see what happens with that one. Austin says, can you go for St. Maximin? A very, very good player, but then again, left wing is not our problem. And then if you're trying to get players who are not always injured, you don't go for St. Maximin. St. Maximin plays 1 game and goes for 1 month, plays another game, gets injured for 4 months, plays 1 game, goes again for 3 games. He's a very injury-prone player. If you're talking about Partey and Tierney getting injuries, I think St. Maximin picks up more injuries than those players. Speaking of injuries, you see the kind of players that you're signing right now? Rice never gets injured. That is another reason why I absolutely love signing Declan Rice. 100% perfect. He never gets injured. He always plays 100%. Kai Havertz, as much as people don't like him, he doesn't get injured as well. He always plays. So he's always fit. That is something good to have. Players who can always play. And that as well applies to Timber. Timber last season played, I think, 33 out of the 34 games for Ajax. That is what you want. Players who are always going to play. For us, that's not the case. Tomiyasu is injury prone. Partey, if he stays injury prone. Tierney, same. We have a few of those. Even last season, Trossard got injured, I think, maybe twice after he came. Fabio Vieira was injured for a lot of the season. Jesus, not his fault, but he was also injured for a lot of the season. Zinchenko missed a spell with an injury as well. A lot of our players get injured. Let's not even forget Saliba. That is what cost us the title. Saliba was injured for like 3 months. So injuries cost us a lot. So I'm also seeing Arteta going for the players who are always going to play, the likes of Declan Rice and Havertz, those players who never get injured. And you also have to know how to treat your body, when to run. Sometimes, young players like Saka, energy, always want to run back and forth, and he did not know how to control his body yet, or to save his energy for later in the game. As he goes on, that is another point of gaining experience. You know how to conserve your energy. Now that is the same with the players like Martinelli and all that. Martinelli always wants to run and run and run. And remember, Martinelli used to get a lot of injuries. Now, the likes of Havertz, even him being 24 though, he still played in the top level, and he doesn't run a lot, yes, but that is what people say. According to the stats, he does run a lot, but he knows how to conserve his energy, and all the players that you can get, they know how to conserve their energy, so they will be fit for most of the season. I appreciate it, Apata. Chibale says Kai is very versatile. Yes, that is the good thing with him. Hopefully, some people are saying that is a bad thing. People don't know his position, but it could only be a good thing for us. As this tweet said, ESPN sources have told ESPN that during conversations, Arsenal have indicated that in addition to operating as a number 10, he can operate as a number 8. They also see Havertz as capable of playing all the front 3 positions. So that's a good thing to have. He might not be everyone's cup of tea, but now that he's signed for Arsenal, you have to support him. There's no need of abusing him anymore. He's an Arsenal player. Now, if you're going to win the title, he's going to contribute next season. So we have to support whichever signings are coming in, especially after they already come in. We have to support him. So if he's on the bench and Saka has to be subbed off, you can bring Havertz for the last 20 minutes on that side, and it can work out. So he was playing for Chelsea. He was not playing for Arsenal, and Arteta was not his manager. So let's see how he does at Arsenal. If he performs poorly, then we'll talk about the 65 million and talk about all that. But for now, let's see how he does. George says, aren't we getting Caicedo? Simple answer, George. money. He's so brilliant. If you're releasing Xhaka and Partey, we need Caicedo and Rice in that midfield. In addition, we should release this Egyptian ghost. Wow, Elneny, that's a bit mean on Elneny. Elneny is one of the nicest people in the world, George, who's just nursing injuries and offering nothing in the team. I don't think he'll be here next Sunday. When fit, he offers nothing either. He's just, wow, George is very mean. Judges has some harsh words for Elneny. If there's anyone that I don't really have harsh words for is Elneny. Yes, he's not good enough to help us go to the next level. But I'll tell him in a nice way, Elneny, thank you for your service. You stayed here for a long time. We've now gone to the next level. Thank you for your service, and we can sell him, or you can let him go on a free, whichever. I wouldn't really chase him. I don't even think he's going to be here next season anyway. I heard he's a very, very good player in terms of dressing room. He gets along with everybody, and he motivates everyone. Even if people play poorly, he will motivate you, will give you kind words and everything. Good. But yes, right now I do agree that you need to go to the next level. But then you can't really replace Elneny with Caicedo. Caicedo is 100 million, Elneny is like 5 million. So that's not a direct replacement. But again, no one said you're not going to get Caicedo. There still talks about that. It's the chances are very minimal, but according to Sam Dean, Arsenal could bid for Caicedo if we don't get Partey. So let's see how that one goes. A slightly harsh, George, slightly harsh. I think Havertz is a good signing. He's amazing at finding space in the box and runs. We saw Xhaka doing this a lot last season, which way he could play, as well as come the wings and up front. Now, Xhaka got in the box a lot. I think all of his goals were scored in the box. I don't think Xhaka scored from outside the box last season, if I'm not wrong. All of his goals were inside the box. So surely, Xhaka scored 7 goals and 7 assists. I'd like to believe Havertz is going to get more than that if he plays that number of games. Surely, he's not going to get worse than that. He's going to score more than Xhaka. And there's a couple of times I saw Xhaka getting the ball one-on-one or getting a chance in the box, and he doesn't really shoot because, I don't know, doesn't believe in himself or something. Havertz, he might miss from the Chelsea days, but no, he won't miss. That was Chelsea. Forget about Chelsea. He won't miss. Arteta will make him the next Van Persie, as we've been told. He's going to be the next Van Persie. He's going to score. He's going to score 10 plus goals next. And so let's see how he does. Van Persie was really good. Van Persie was really good. Rice deal is delaying. Why can't they do what West Ham wants? Says Abdul. No, Abdul, you cannot do that. You cannot do what teams want. You cannot agree to be bullied in the transfer market. That is not how it works. Weakness. You want us to show weakness in the transfer market? Not a good idea. You cannot just if we pay 120 million because West Ham want, Ajax will tell us, you know what? We want 70 million for Timber. Pay us what you want as well. So will you pay 70 million for Timber and then go for Brighton, and then Brighton tell you know what, 140 million for Caicedo? He can't really pay what they want. That is where negotiations are come into place. And I think we're going to get him for not less than 100 million. And if we end up getting him for like 90 million, that 10 million that you're saying we just should pay them, that 10 million could help us get another player into the team. So you have to know how to negotiate. And we are going to get him. Just relax. Tomorrow is the day. We are going to get him. You cannot just, let me add something else on that point. Just do what West Ham wants. These other teams are not doing what Arsenal wants. We want like 40 million for Partey, but teams are offering us 20 million. They're not doing what we want. We want 50 million for Balogun. Teams are offering 25, 30 million. They're not doing what we want as well. So teams usually don't do what people want. Chelsea want 80 million for Mount. Man United are not giving them 80 million. Leicester want 50 million for Maddison. Tottenham are not giving them 50 million. And then there's a lot of players. 90% of players are like that. You don't usually give players, teams what they want. You have to negotiate. And if we get him for less than that, then we can tell West Ham, know your level, never disrespect Arsenal again, because they've been disrespecting Arsenal a lot recently. I am putting a bid on Arsenal to win the league next season. Lee, wow, interesting. Quite early, but there's I don't think we are going to finish 6th or 7th as people are making it look like. I think we are going to I still think you're going to finish in the top 2. I would not put a bet that you're definitely going to win the league, but what I'd put a bet on is we're definitely going to win a trophy. Which trophy? I don't know. I would love it to be the Champions League. Just imagine. It's dreams for me. Just imagine you go back to the Champions League in the first season and win it. Oh my goodness. I would scream. 2006, I cried. I couldn't go to school the next day because we lost that Champions League final to Barcelona, and we were 10 minutes away from winning it. And Almunia decided, no, Arsenal is not going to win this one. And we lost it to Belletti and Eto'o. So if we ever win even get close to that, it's been long, man. Like even getting to a quarterfinal of a Champions League, it's been long since we got there. If I was to make a bet right now, I'd say we'd win the FA Cup, get the quarterfinal of the Champions League, finish in the top 2 of the Premier League, and semi-final, final of the Carabao Cup. I don't know. If we win, if it's possible to win 2 trophies, what I can say is next season and the other next season and the other next season. So the next 3 seasons, I can see Arsenal winning at least 3 trophies. That is what I can say. So I believe the more we go on, the better we get. And in the next 2 years, especially if Guardiola leaves Man City, then the space will open up. And if Man City are not in that league, we win it last season. And if no, Man City are not in this league next season, I'll be telling you Arsenal will definitely win the league. Forget about Man United and all those teams. They'll do well, yes, but I don't care about them anyway. As regards of spending 200 million, if negotiation is well structured for Rice, Arsenal could as well get more targeted players. That is true, Daniel. We're also not paying that money right away. So if we have that 200 million, as Daniel says, we are going to spend, if it's 80 million for Rice right now, and then 20 million add-ons for later. For Timber as well, it could be structured in a different way where we're paying them 15 million per year or something. So at the end of the day, if you get those 3 players, and including Havertz, it could be 150 million. There'd still be 50 million on top of that to spend another player. So let's see what happens. Zaidi says, I'm a Chelsea fan. No worries about Kai, but we'll take time for him to settle. I know and believe Chelsea will be above Arsenal. Fair enough. You believe in your team. Has your manager come in yet, though? Do you have a manager yet? I think you should be getting a manager first. I think you should appoint Pochettino first, and then we can talk about you finishing above Arsenal. I do think Chelsea will be in the top 6 next season, though. I do think you'll be in the top 6 for sure. Nata from Uganda, why can't get Maddison as backup for Odegaard? We already have backup for Odegaard. Even if you don't like them, you already have Fabio Vieira, Smith Rowe, and Havertz to play that position. That is not we cannot go spending 60 million on Maddison right now. He's a great player, very good set piece taker, one of the best. But you cannot say you'd rather spend that money and go and get Caicedo rather than Maddison. We don't really need Maddison. Our problem is not creating chances. We create a lot of chances per game. So in the future, yes, if he's available and you have the money, why not? But there's a lot of things you have to get. You have to consider as well, wages and everything. What if Maddison comes and says he wants 250,000 a week? We're already paying Havertz 200 plus. You're already giving Saka almost the same. Rice will come to Arsenal and he'll get 200 and something per week as well. So all that has to be taken into consideration. I'm very sure Rice is our player. I don't care how much Man City will offer. I'm the same as well. I don't care how much they offer. I already believe he's an Arsenal player. Initially, West Ham said they wanted 100 and anything has been changed, and we are just wasting our time and money for scouts. But our task to rotate our players, our team is going to start winning the trophies from next season. So noisy neighbors are going to start glowing thing. They're already nervous, Abdul. That is why you know how many times Arsenal gets spoken about? It's not Arsenal, it's not only Arsenal doing the transfers, but it's only Arsenal being spoken about. You'd actually think it's the transfer market is only open for Arsenal. They're not talking about any other team. It's unlike Declan. Every time I get into YouTube, it's Declan Rice people are talking about. Chelsea fans, Man United fans talking about Declan Rice. I'm like, you should be talking about your own team. So they know. That is why they're following Arsenal's transfer window. But you're not going to say anything. We're not going to say anything. Diana says anything on Tim Glenn? Yes, we launched our second bid today. It is due to be accepted by Ajax. Ajax director used to be Arsenal's director as well, by the way. Arsenal can make top 4 cannot make top 4 next season. That is interesting. What makes people believe that? That's usually, I find that a very funny comment. Because this is what people say. Arsenal bottled the league last season. They're not going to finish in the top 6. How does that one work out? If they bottled the league, that means they're 100% going to finish in the top 4. You can say Arsenal are definitely not going to win the league. That is fine. But in terms of how can we go from 2nd to 7th, how is that possible? I don't. It happens sometimes, but I don't get people's logic. So apparently Arsenal has a transfer ban because people say Newcastle is going to sign players. Okay, Arsenal is not going to sign players. Man United are going to sign players. Okay. Man City are going to strengthen. Liverpool are going to be back there. Liverpool won 6 games in a row. Okay. Arsenal also won 6 games in a row last season. So I don't get people's point. But you know what? That is okay. You're right. Arsenal will finish 10th. Arsenal will finish 10th. That's okay. Arsenal will finish 10th. It's great to go into this one without pressure. Don't worry about Arsenal. Arsenal is not a good enough team. We are not even going to compete for the top 6. But we'll wait for next season and see what happens. Okay. I can bet the house that you're not going to finish outside the top 4. I'm that convinced. How much is Timber's second bid? They said between 45 million euros and 48 million euros. So in pounds, that is like 40 million pounds. So that is a good price for him. I trust my Arsenal. Let them do the right thing. Rice will take Arsenal to another level. I believe so as well. I don't see how people. If Rice and Timber and all these guys join us, I don't see how they're going to make us worse. So I don't know. Next one is definitely our season, says Tyro. Why is Arsenal being hated by most pundits? Exactly that, Dirty. They are not happy seeing Arsenal top of the table for that long. Apparently, as well, they've chosen to forget about Arsenal from August to April. They are choosing to remember Arsenal in May. So there's that as well. But let's see. Let's see what happens. We scored 88 goals last season. That was with Jesus out for 4 months. That was without Smith Rowe, one of our top scorers from the previous season. That was with we only conceded goals when Tomiyasu and Saliba got injured at the end of the campaign. We basically dominated 35 out of the 38 games. Only Man City played us out of the off the park. Only Man City and Liverpool in the second half at Anfield. Every other game, maybe Newcastle for 20 minutes. But we went to Newcastle, went to Brighton, went to Aston Villa, scored 4 goals. All that. If it happens, the same happens next season. We just need to make sure that we win games against Everton and win games against Nottingham Forest, and that 5-point gap has closed. But let's see what happens. Rice to come, but Partey stays. Hopefully, Kevin. I would love him to stay for 100%. Has Timber accepted? Timber himself, he wants to join Arsenal. He's happy with the money we are offering him. But the reports are saying that Ajax are definitely going to accept that bid. I don't think they're going to reject it. Any update on William Saliba's health and new contract? Our contract is already signed. They are waiting for him to return from holiday. I think that is this week, and he will sign the contract. And then in terms of injury, he's not yet fit. That is the thing. So I think in preseason, we'll start with Timber and Ben White and Gabriel. And speaking of contracts, by the way, that is another reason this Arsenal transfer window will be better than every other player, every other teams. Remember, if we sign Havertz, Rice, Timber, and anyone else, remember we've given Saka a new contract, our best player. We've given Martinelli a new contract recently. We've given Gabriel a new contract. We're giving Saliba a new contract. Odegaard will get a new contract as well. Ramsdale got a new contract recently. Our transfer window is the biggest. We have kept our best players, and Saka getting a new contract is like a new signing. So this will be Arsenal's transfer window by far. Arsenal should consider Onana of Everton instead of Lavia, says Kabia. To be honest, if you're to ask me between those players and you give me other options, I'll still not choose Onana or Lavia. And if you're to ask me between those two, I'd still choose Lavia because of the age difference and also because of technical ability. I don't think Onana is fits into our technical ability in terms of midfield. We want midfielders like even our goalkeeper, as I said the other day, even our goalkeeper can play as a midfielder because he can pass the ball. So passing and crossing and all those abilities, running with the ball is good. But what about his passing? What about his technique? Can he dribble past the player? Maybe he can because of his power, but technique-wise, I think Atta really looks for players who are technically gifted. Who will be Arsenal's? Zaidi says who will be Arsenal's? Haaland. Is that what you mean? when you see somebody score about above 30 goals, I love Arsenal, but Arsenal leads such terrifying strikers. Jesus, now there. Yes, I know getting a striker like that, like an Osimhen, is great, but I'm saying as of now, you cannot go paying 150 million for Osimhen and we don't have a midfield. The other thing with that point is you can have the best striker in the world, but you will still lose every single game. The striker will score 3 goals, but you'll concede 5 goals if you don't have a midfield. So we can have Osimhen, but if you don't have a midfield, we'll finish 7th still, even if you have Osimhen in your team or Haaland. Man City have Haaland, but they have a very good midfield as well. And their defense is not bad at all. Their defense keeps a lot of clean sheets. So you can't just say, let's go for Osimhen without sorting our midfield. That is the engine. Striker, great. That is like having good rims on your car, but you need an engine first. So engine first. That is midfield. In the future, when you want to win the Champions League, 1 year, 2 years from now, whatever, when you're going to be competing for the Champions League, then you go to go for players like Osimhen. But Napoli, how much Napoli wants? Like 150 million. So you're not going to get him. And then again, can we really say, Zaidi, can we really say that scoring goals is what cost Arsenal the trophy last season? That would not be true. Our defense at the end is what cost us, and also Partey not performing in midfield, and also Odegaard going a bit quiet, and also Saka going a bit quiet. So that is why you say backup players, and our midfield needed other players in midfield in addition to the likes of Partey, and also backup for the likes of Saliba. We did not lose the title lesson because of not scoring goals. Jesus, Saka, Odegaard. Jesus scored a lot of goals for a player who was injured was out for 4 months. If Jesus was in the team for the whole season, you'd have gotten 17 or 18. Let's also remember that. So if Martinelli adds another 2 goals to his tally, and Saka adds another 2 goals, and Odegaard adds 1 goal, and Jesus adds 5 to his total, and Havertz comes into the team and gives us 8 to 10 goals, or maybe more, who knows, and Smith throws his feet and gives us 5 to 10 goals, you can easily, if you create the same number of chances we did last season, we can easily get 100 goals. I believe that. So striking is not our biggest problem, not at all. We scored 88 goals without a striker. So sort out the midfield first, and then we can go for the strikers. We need to be quick in this transfer window, says Kingston. We are quick. We are quick. We are the team that is doing the most business right now, quicker than anyone else. Let's see. Wow, George, the long comment, you can't even see my face. That is crazy. Thank you, George, for taking your time to write this. Let's try and read it all. If it's true we are releasing Jack and Partey, we desperately need Caicedo and Rice combination in that midfield, with Jorginho and another midfielder on that bench as proper backups. This transfer window might completely break Arsenal if aren't so careful. Releasing 2 senior and most important players is a grave mistake. I still believe we still need Jack in that midfield. He has been our best player in that midfield. Moreover, Kai is a decent player, very dangerous, sharp up front. He has an eye for goal. I guess that is what you meant. Your comment is super long. It even cut out. Thank you, though, Judge, for writing that. So to answer your comment, or to comment on your comment, Jacques and Partey, they're still Arsenal players. They've not yet gone anywhere. So I'm guessing they want to replace them first before even selling them. Remember, Jacques and Partey have not yet gone anywhere. So I guess they are looking to sign midfielders first before selling them. Partey, I'd love to keep him. But the problem is, I don't think they're selling Partey because he's a bad player. I think it's something to do with off the pitch. And if they feel like it's going to spoil Arsenal's name, I don't know. Because these days, whenever we play away games, Partey's booed, and there's always comments of, what. So maybe Arsenal don't want to be involved in that. And maybe, I saw someone writing on Twitter, maybe they don't want to keep a player who has an impending court case. Maybe they want to get away from that. So we don't know. We'll understand. We'll get to know about it soon. For Jacques, I think they had already decided he's going to leave before even the season ended. Maybe just wants a new... he's been here for a long time. 2016, 7 years. So maybe just wants a new adventure, and Arsenal wants, they now want these players from 3-4 years ago. Has there been any bid for Patino, or Arsenal will be keeping him? We wanted to keep him, but he wanted to like stay and play, and he didn't want another loan, so he wanted to send him on another loan as well, but he refused. He wants to go and start a new career elsewhere, so that is the problem. But I've not heard about any other bid, but it looks like we're going to lose Partey and also lose Nwaneri as well, the other youngster. Let's not give Man City a chance for Rice, says Geoffrey. I don't think we are. What role will Havertz take on? Will we maybe change our midfield for him? No way he's going to be a bench player. Dante, I did a video about that one, how Havertz will fit in at Arsenal. I'll put for you a link in the comment section. When will Arsenal announce the signing of Havertz this week? And what is going on concerning Rice? This is what is going on concerning Rice. We'll be making a bid tomorrow. Almost 100 million, which West Ham are expected to accept. So that is good news. According to ex-West Ham employees, very reliable in terms of West Ham news. Let's see. Let's take a couple of more comments. We've been going for an hour. Arsenal will really compete and even win the EPL and Champions League next season. I'd not bet on it next season, mainly because Man City is there. If Man City is not there, we are going to win the Premier League easily, I'd say that. Champions League is a tricky one. Champions League, is not very easy to win. But I'd say I want us to get at least to the quarterfinal. I don't want us to be eliminated in the group stage. I don't want us to be like knocked out in the round of 16. You know how many times we got knocked out in the round of 16? Many times. I think we were knocked out like 6 years in a row, like twice by Barcelona, twice by Bayern Munich. I think Monaco as well beat us. Dante, I've put for you the link in the chat at Arsenal. Yeah, so posting it right now. I love Xhaka. They should not leave. I'd love Xhaka to stay as well. I'd love Partey to stay as well, but it's looking impossible. But the thing is, I feel like they have a plan for replacing them. I don't think it's only going to be Rice and Lavia. I think they have other plans as well in terms of midfielders. I will weep if Arsenal lose out to Rice for Man City. God forbid, says Godwin. Yes, Arsenal can get Rice, says Anson. I want to change that comment, Anson. Yes, Arsenal will get Rice. Big day tomorrow. We'll talk about that one. I think if there's any news, I'll do one more video for today, and then tomorrow we will be here for live streams as we wait for the Arsenal to offer the player. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, and I'll catch up with you guys very, very soon.